Can you show one of the scripts to build the build the JSON array, maybe?
And I'll go through the script. So it's a normal FileMaker script. They're not doing anything crazy. We're verifying some required stuff. And then we're setting up our globals for the globals necessary to do some selector type reporting, for things. And then here's where we start getting into virtual lists. So first thing we want to do is define our column names, right? So in the virtual list, because there's a field that's defined as the header, we're defining what our column names are, and that's pretty straightforward. We're just doing some pipe delimited values for what the column names are going to look like. And because it's in a virtual list, we can name them whenever we want. We could use, field names for the actual solution, but because it's a virtual list, we're just going to hard code them in there. And then here's where we have the part of the report that's a SQL query that gathers the data what we want. The SQL query is pretty intense, so we're doing a lot of joins. So we're getting a table name. We're defining all of our joins, up here. But because this is a virtual list, like I said, we don't really have to worry about exactly how we get the data. If we wanted to, we could just do a typical find in a table and loop through the records. But for this solution, we needed to join a bunch of stuff in order to get certain data, to be connected. So we could do a SQL result and then take that result and put it into the virtual list. So this just does it all in one big SQL query. So once we have our, result, or this is the actual building the statement. So for this example, we're running a SQL query on the server because, performance stuff, and then we're grabbing that result. And then all we have to do is grabbing the content of that result. We're counting the number of records, and then we're exporting that data into the virtual list table. So it's pretty straightforward from here. Since those variables are already built, we don't have to do anything except verify that there's the number of records that we need in the virtual list table, and then we're off to the races. The data is set, and all we're going to do is export it as a PD or as a Excel document. So it's kind of nice because that data is all in the table. We can do whatever we want with it. It can be a primitive report. It can export pretty easily because the headers are already defined, all that sort of stuff. So it makes it really malleable. In this other solution, we're doing a little bit more with it. So we're still doing the same thing. Let me pull up the table. We're still building that global variable. We're using the calculations to pull the data out from that array row. Pretty standard stuff. But the changes we made here are all on the display side. So we're doing a little bit of extra work. And so all we've added here is just some conditional formatting. So there's certain things that we're certain conditions that set the conditional formatting of the field, and it's really just for highlighting the field. It's nothing crazy, but where there's a separate calculation it's a nightly script that runs and sets a field based on a number of certain scenarios on what the client wanted, what the client wanted the colors to look like based on certain parameters, right? So all we're doing is taking the value that was stored in that field, and then changing the conditional formatting based on whatever that color is. So it's nothing crazy. All we're doing is literally just defining the color that the client decided on for each one. But what's nice is I'm pulling those into this virtual list table so we can actually use them and perform the conditional formatting based on whatever color it was. So still a little bit of hard coding, but it does make it easier to to do conditional formatting in a virtual list environment if you have the scenario, the rules tightly set. And so if we look at the script, so a lot of it's very similar, but because this is a newer implementation of it, there's a lot more, commenting and things like that. So I like to make sure we're setting up the element for the virtual list first, just because I know that everything is defined and I can be cleared quickly if I'm debugging, in whatever test scenario that I have. And then we're starting our index. A lot of people like to do a lot of the stuff in a single step, but I like to make sure everything's very verbose because, if I come back to this a year from now, I'm not going to remember half this stuff. And then here's where we're defining our column headers. And in this case, the report, it's all dates. So we're just counting out dates by weeks counting out weeks by days. And then that's going to display in the header for each column. The client knew exactly how many columns they wanted to show on this report, and they knew exactly how far ahead they wanted the report to be. So it was pretty easy to set up the headers and columns the way they wanted. And then we get into building the actual data that's going to display. So we're getting some locations based on some value lists, and then we start a loop for each location where this is going to be the first part of the report. And so it's going to a table, performing a find, and then we start building our arrays based on certain conditions. And so the value of that. And so in the previous example, we were doing a SQL query. In this example, we're doing a loop and setting up the array based on the found set. So pretty straightforward. Instead of looping to each record, we're using the whole GetNthRecord, which I really like. I don't know if anybody uses that enough, but if you have to loop through records, don't actually loop through the records. Just use the GetNthRecord for your found set, and that really speeds things up. Shannon taught me that one. That was a fantastic trick.
Yeah, that one is huge because you don't have to wait for all the screen rendering.
Mm-hmm. So from there on, all you're doing is building that JSON virtual list object. So I'm looping through, building or adding to that index, adding the key pairs to the index, and inside that there's another loop to get certain scenarios that you want certain records to be nested inside the original, and so those get nested inside this loop. So once it's done with that loop, then it goes back out and does a summary, and so the summary is showing underneath the inside loop of the first loop. So like I said, if you can control your found sets to show, or because you can control your found sets, you can really show that data on a virtual list report in a really dynamic way. I mean, dynamic with quotes, right? Like it's not really dynamic. You're building it literally cell by cell, but you have a really good handle on what data is going to show on the report or on the interface. Like this is really good for pickers too. So that's it. We've got all of our data, and then like I said, we're verifying that we have a number of records in the table, and I can show you this is a really simple script where it's just opening a utility window, going to that table, making sure it's counting the number of records, and it matches or is equal or greater than the records we need, and then if not, it just adds the records and increments the serials, right? Like nothing crazy. And then when we're done verifying the records, we just perform a find for everything in that array row. Like I said earlier, it's not, we don't have to get crazy with how we get that data, but just because we're populating the array row from the JSON, all you have to do is to find the records in that field. And then we're just, setting up window stuff and exiting out. It's pretty straightforward from there. These aren't extremely difficult. You just have to have a really good handle on how FileMaker loads that JSON data from the global variable, and then how the customer wants that to be built, because it can be really done in a whole bunch of different ways.
Yeah, question. Have you had a a setback with the size of the global variable?
No, I have not.
Okay.
Yeah, not yet. I
Because
know.
the global variable is holding everything, right? I mean, all of the data that you collect. So if you're working with like 100,000 records,
Right. And I would say, like, if you're using more than, if you're parsing more than like 10,000 records, I would probably break it up into chunks. You know, I think the most I've seen is like 400 to 500, you know, like in that range of records.
Yeah.
And even then, because I'm chunking up the data and that array row is grabbing data that it needs to display for that row, it does that part pretty quick. But I think if you had to do a whole bunch of data all at once, it would be, I think results would vary.
You could do that. You could switch to doing some of the JSON parsing in the web viewer, potentially if you had really large data chunks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. And I think that's where I do like data tables for this sort of thing. So if you think about data tables in conjunction with virtual lists, data tables are really nice for an interface that is not a report, right? Like they're really good for showing data and interacting with data, where a user needs to do more than just print out a report or an export data, right? Like where the user needs to interact with it, or there's more CSS underneath that does conditional formatting, or all sorts of stuff. So a lot more usable interface.
I think this what is nice about this is, since you put it into JSON, it's fairly straightforward to turn it into a data table or turn it into some sort of a website display referencing it as JSON, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then you don't even actually really have to work to do that, because AI does everything. So, but like seriously, if you gave it that as a sample of, here's the JSON object that I'm using for my virtual list, can you create a really nice dashboard with summary calcs, all kinds of stuff?
Yeah.
Web viewer with the data tables built in and all sorts of stuff. Like, the hardest part is gathering the data that you're going to either use for a virtual list or pass into your large language model to give you that web page HTML and JavaScript code. So I think it works really easy because you've already done the work of gathering the data, that is what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
And the data is in a JSON format, so it's highly portable into other formats.